Welcome back to SheetWise. Today we are diving into one of the most powerful visualization tools in finance, the waterfall graph, also known as a bridge. Specifically, we will be focusing on a net sales bridge and breaking down the impacts of volume, price, and the transaction, translation, currency impacts. Let's dive into it. Section 1. Introduction to waterfall graphs. A waterfall graph is a type of chart that helps you understand how an initial value, such as net sales, is impacted by a series of positive and negative changes. These changes or impacts lead to a final value. The visual step-by-step breakdown makes it easier to analyze and explain the factors driving these changes. In a net sales bridge, the initial value is typically the net sales from the previous period, and the final value is the net sales for the current period. The bars in between represent the factors for changing and influencing the changes in net sales. Section 2. Building the net sales bridge. Let's build the net sales bridge together. We start with the following data points. Net sales previous period. This is our starting point. Now comes the volume impact, the effect of changes in the quantity of goods sold. The price impact, the effect of price changes on sales. The currency transaction effect, the effect of currency fluctuations on sales in the original transaction currencies. The translation currency impact, the effect of converting sales from the transaction currency to the reporting currency, and net sales current period. This is our ending point. It's the sum of the net sales previous year and all the impacts. As you can see, the data includes both positive and negative impacts. The volume impact increases the net sales because more units were sold, while the price impact decreases the net sales because the average selling price went down. Section 3. Preparing the net sales bridge. Now let's visualize this data with a waterfall chart. Excel introduced a new waterfall chart a few years ago, so it's not necessary to use any stacked columns or something. It's out of the box, really pretty. We'll select the data, click on Insert, insert a waterfall graph, and we move it to a new sheet because it's easier to see. Excel will automatically generate the chart showing the net sales previous period, each impact, and the net sales current period. You see a few changes are necessary. We click on this current year column, right click and set it as total. Now it comes down. And we added a column for a budget. Right click, set as total 2. And now it's on the first glance a pretty graph. The beauty of this chart is how clearly it shows the step-by-step impact of each factor. You can immediately see how volume, price, and currency effects contribute to the overall change in net sales. Section 4. Explaining the impacts. Let's break down each impact one by one. The volume impact. This bar shows the effect of selling more or fewer units. If more units are sold, this bar will be positive, indicating an increase in net sales. Conversely, if fewer units are sold, the bar will be negative. The price impact. Here we look at the effect of changing prices. If prices increased, you'd see a positive bar, reflecting higher sales. If prices dropped, the bar will be negative, reducing the overall sales figure. Transaction currency impact. This impact comes into play if you are selling in a currency different from your reporting currency. For example, if you sell in euros but report in US dollar. Changes in the euro-US dollar exchange rate can either increase or decrease your sales when converted back to US dollar. Translation currency impact. Finally, the translation currency impact occurs when you consolidate sales from different regions into one reporting currency. It reflects the effect of fluctuating exchange rates on your global sales when everything is translated into the same currency. Each of these impacts plays a crucial role in understanding the movement in your net sales. By visualizing them in a waterfall chart, you can easily explain and analyze the underlying factors behind your business performance. Now we have to do a few changes. You could imagine that the impacts are very small. For example, we go here in the sheet and change it to 3 minus 5 5 2. Go back and you see it's not very nice. You cannot see the impacts very good. So we make a right click on this axis, click format axis, and we start with a higher starting point, let's say 80. And now the effects are much higher or much bigger. But we want to delete this axis. We have the data points above the columns. So we go on this plus axis, click here and delete the vertical axis. Yeah, it's not necessary. Here, the chart title, you can click in it, net sales bridge, and I don't like here the lines, so we right click on the column, format data series, and you see show connector lines. We delete that and we can change the gaps, a little bit smaller gaps or bigger. And now we change the colors to maybe a dark blue. Now we deleted budget and we change the axis, format axis, and say the max is 110. Yeah, I think that's nicer. Delete the axis scale again, and we make the show connector lines, and the negative column will be red to highlight it a little bit more. The positive might be green. Now I think you can really easily see the impacts and explain the different changes. And that's how you build and explain a net sales bridge using a waterfall graph. It's an incredibly effective tool for breaking down complex data into understandable parts, making it easier to present to stakeholders or analyze for internal decision making. If you found this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments below if there's any other topic you'd like me to cover. Thank you for your time and see you next week.